Here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K&B, you can't fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop.
What up, y'all? K&B, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for Cplus Studios and a paper Saber universe. Welcome to the Sexy Ninjacast, a podcast all about K&B, the Sexy Ninja's loves and interests and feelings and motivation, if you want, things that I'm passionate about, things that come to mind, fandoms of mine that I love, music. But today's topic is about a character. I just watched the latest episode of The Bad Batch, and yes, me and Doug's second part of our review for The Bad Batch is coming. He's just been getting ready to move. He's got a kiddo, so a lot of things are going on that aspect. But I don't want to dive into The Bad Batch until me and him get together, because our love of Star Wars is forever, and I love talking to Doug about Star Wars. But this one, I wanted to talk about the character Crosshair, especially this last episode. So spoilers ahead if you have not watched the last episode of The Bad Batch, or if you're watching at all. The last episode is called The Outpost, and this episode fucked me up. Emotionally, mentally, I'm thinking of this character that I love The Bad Batch so much. I love the whole crew, and Crosshair is one of those characters that in the first season, I'm like, you're such an asshole, dude. A good soldier follows orders. Now we're peeling the layers of this character in this season. And what's funny is everyone is complaining like, oh, we need more Crosshair. We need more. I'm like, yes, some of the best episodes is just Crosshair. But with this season, I think they're giving it in small doses because it hits differently. This episode, The Outpost, it's the Clone Wars is over, and the war is over, and the Empire is slowly bringing in the stormtroopers, and clones are just being told to retire. They're being told to, hey, fuck you guys. You guys are nothing. You served your purpose. Now move on. Crosshair is at the point of he's trying to be a good soldier. He's trying really hard to be, I'm following orders. A mission is a mission. You get the mission done, this and that. But he's slowly seeing these things happening with the Empire. And he gets this mission. This dickhead lieutenant comes, like, fuck this guy, man. Like, seriously. He goes to Crosshair, calls him by his number. Crosshair, and he's like, put your uniform on, soldier. And he puts on his helmet, and then this lieutenant looks over and he sees more clones. He's like, ugh, clones. And Crosshair's like, is there a problem? And he goes, I don't like used equipment. And I was like, fuck this, dude. So they go off to this outpost. They got to get some cargo that needs to be transferred. They meet with a batch of clone troopers there, and one of the head troopers named Mayday. I have never felt for a character in 30 minutes that I have for this one character, Mayday. A character that we see, he says, yeah, man, he's one of those people. It's like, I looked at this like at work. This lieutenant just comes in and starts being a dickhead to all of them because they're clones. Like, he's being a clonist. He's a clonist. And he's just being a dickhead to them, and Mayday's like, yo, where have you been? Like, there's been like a bunch of cycles so far, and we've been waiting. They're like, where's your other men? He goes, dead. This outpost keeps getting attacked, and slowly my men are dying. We've been waiting, with better equipment, and he's like, fuck you. You protect your equipment. And he goes, I'm gonna find my quotas. So he. Fuck off to him for a little bit. But Mayday and Crosshair, Mayday's like, let me show you around, and they go out, and Crosshair's like, how did they get past the sensors? And so he goes, well, look at the conditions. We're on this ice planet, and it's crazy to think, like, yeah, look at this. And this equipment's failing because of the environment. Like, we've been calling them. It's like how you ask, like, when you're in a workplace, when you go to work, you're like, hey, this is busted. Okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's the same exact thing. Like you know, anybody that works in retail or fucking anything in like a job, a office, and you're like, hey, blah blah, bosses, hey, you know, and the Outpost gets attacked. But before then, Crosshair even asked Mayday, he's like, what's in these crates? They're like, I don't know. You know, he's like, what do you mean you don't know? He goes, we were told to protect them because they're soldiers. That's what they are. They follow orders. But we have certain clones out there that are realizing now that the Empire is taking over, and this mindset of like, now we're going to erase them. Kamino's gone, you know, because Palpatine wants to control making clones for himself, you know. So hence, like, fast forward to Snoke and whatnot. But that's what the premise is, that Kamino's gone because the Empire wants to control that technology for themselves. So, you know, Crosshair is like really looking at things differently. They go, the Outpost gets attacked. One of the attackers gets out of there. Crosshair nips him to get blood so he can follow his trail. And, you know, they go back, and the lieutenant's like, where's the cargo? Where's the cargo they stole? And they're like, it's out there, man. Like, he goes, okay, well, you need to go back and retrieve it. And Mayday's like, yo, dude, do you not see out there? He's like, we need more men. You're going to send me out there? He goes, and then this dude's like, no, you two need to go. You two clones. You go get my cargo back. You hear me? Follow orders. And they do. That's what's so fucked up. I looked at it in just so many perspectives and ways. Like, everyone in this life has gone through something of this nature of being bullied around, especially like at work. You know, you get in that mental head state of like, why the fuck am I doing this? Oh, I have to pay bills. Oh, I have to do this. I'm a good soldier. I gotta follow orders. I want to get promoted in some form. When you know that's not gonna happen, and I feel so bad for the clones because now they're useless to the Empire. And we're going to see some revelation between maybe the clones versus the stormtroopers coming in. And so they go out. There's this really great scene where Crosshair accidentally steps on a landmine. And he's like, oh, shit. You know, Mayday's like, oh, hold on. And he looks at Mayday. He goes, do you think, can you get this? He goes, I'm not a bomb person, but I had my fair share of things. He goes, it's a little different. But he helps him get off the mine. And their interaction between each other, they're building this relationship as they go, you know. And I'm feeling it at every step of the way. And this episode is very serious in tone, and that's how the Crosshair episode has been. And I like that, you know. And I like the aspects of me getting back with the Bad Batch and with Omega and having fun and you know, facing Zilla Beasts and everything like that, but coming back to the main reality of what is happening to the clones. And so, you know, they go and find this little cave or whatnot with where these attackers have been, where they've been stealing their equipment, wearing the equipment of the clones and this and that. And so they go in, take them all out, blow up the place. Snow's coming down like crazy. You know, of course, the place collapses. And this was the most fucked up part. They go, Mayday goes, okay, hey, let's get the equipment and get back. And Crosshair goes, okay. And they go and they look, and the equipment, of course, the boxes are open, and what's inside falls out. And Mayday goes, hey, there's equipment in here. Equipment we could have been using this whole time. And Crosshair looks down, and it's a stormtrooper helmet. And he's like, I don't think this was for us. This isn't clone trooper gear. And that's when it dawns on them, like, yo, this whole time we were protecting this in this shitty environment and this whole fucked up conditions, and men died. Clones died for the new batch of soldiers that are going to be taking over, and the clones are going to be pushed to the side. We're watching their gear. And I was like, fuck, you know, I was like, imagine that you're doing the job, and then you find something like, it's like going into the boss's office, and then you see that he has their pink slip, but he has somebody already hired that's going to take your spot. And you're like, what the fuck? How does that make you feel? That makes me feel like shit. That makes me feel like, what the fuck? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I got this job. I wanted to be the best at it. And that's the way I've been looking at this aspect of the clones, and especially Crosshair. He's like, I want to be a good soldier. Good soldiers follow orders. And that's what he did. He had to betray his friends. He had to betray his unit, his group, his posse, just because he was in the belief of the system of, good soldiers follow orders. Then that mentally really resonated like in my head. I'm like, man, we are that. And, in society, we are programmed to like look at everything in this aspect of like good soldiers follow orders. You do it. You have this idea and ambition that something better is going to happen. You're going to get promoted. You're going to get a raise. You're going to get this and that. But if you're in a shit situation and you're not progressing, you hate your job, you hate this, but you start realizing like, oh, fuck, I need something different in my life because this is not working. So after that, an avalanche happens and Crosshair, they're running and all that. Mayday saves him, pushes him to the side, and Mayday takes a lot of this, the brunt of this avalanche with the rock behind him because he got hit. After that, the dust settles and Crosshair digs himself out, and he goes over and he, sorry, they're doing work outside my place. He goes over and he finds Mayday. Mayday's like, leave me, I'm gonna die. And I was like, oh man, no, please don't kill Mayday. Like, please don't kill Mayday. But that's the purpose. And what I really love about this episode is there's these really crazy like bird thingies flying around, and Crosshair keeps seeing them fly. And Mayday earlier in the episode says something along the lines of like, he goes, imagine that. Living that life, being free, especially in such a shitty environment. We see that. We see rich people. We see people living better than you. And that's what I thought that bird symbolized. Like, I could be free. I could be free of my miseries and woes and working for a shitty empire and whatnot. And looking at that bird, and that's what I really liked about it. It was in the background, never attacked. It was just a symbol of freedom in for Crosshair. So he picks up Mayday. He says, no, Crosshair's like, we're going to go. They get all the way back. Stormtroopers are there loading up the equipment. This lieutenant goes, all the troopers stop. And they're like, look. And, Crosshair's holding Mayday. He puts Mayday down, takes off his helmet. And the lieutenant says, get back to work. And he goes over and he's just like, and Crosshair's like, yo, he needs medical attention. He needs medical attention now. And the lieutenant's like, no, I ain't going to waste resources on a clone. And more in my guts, I'm like, Crosshair, kill this motherfucker. We all have that boss. We've had or still have that boss that you're like, fuck you. And what happens in this moment where Crosshair finally puts 2 and 2 together in his brain? Mayday dies. Somebody that he shared a bond with just for a little bit, not for long, just for a little bit. And it's like, and that there, when Mayday died, Crosshair stops, and I got choked up inside because I'm like, oh fuck. No, and this dickhead is like, nah, now you, Crosshair. He was, he was, all of you are replaceable. You're expendable. That's what you are. Now you get back to work. Do what you're doing. And Crosshair is looking down. You can see it in his face. You can feel the emotions. You can feel everything that he feels inside and everything I felt inside. And that lump in my throat started. And I feel like it happened to him. And he's just like, he's questioning now his loyalty. Like, what did his loyalty to the Empire give? Like, how much has his loyalty fucked him over by losing his friends, losing, everything just because he was a good soldier following orders? And right there in that moment, he looks up, he sees that bird in the sky and whatnot, and he slowly closes his eyes, and all of a sudden you just hear it's a shot of the lieutenant walking away, and he's lieutenant, and he stops and he goes, what? And he turns around and bam, blasted his ass. I jumped up out of my fucking chair and I was like, fuck that motherfucker. Fuck you, dude. But at what cost now for Crosshair? Crosshair goes down. He, and it was like, oh my God. Like, and then he wakes up in this place. Now he's being tested on. They told him, like, hey, don't worry, blah, 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 blah. So now we're in this area of just like, what the fuck? But the moral compass of this story is looking at that phrase, good soldiers follow orders. To what extent? To unhappiness? To, what are we all trying to do? What is our time? What is our purpose? What are we serving here in this lifetime? What are we doing? What are we doing right now as a person, as an individual? Like, are you working that shitty job where you're just trying to follow orders and you're not getting the respect you deserve because of the corporate slime, or AKA the empire? So really heavy shit in this episode. And like I said, I had to stop and pull out the recorder and speak on this, because I sat there, I watched it, and I was just like, fuck. Like, everything in my life that's going on right now, everything in other people's lives that are going on right now, I really resonated with this, and Crosshair himself, and dealing with this emotion of going from, being a good soldier following orders to now rebelling against these assholes and shooting that lieutenant. I keep saying lieutenant. I don't even know I didn't even care to remember his fucking name, because he just reminded me of a lot of fucking bosses that I really disliked in my time of working in most of my life. There's bosses I've had like that, and especially when he was just like, get back to work while you're still useful. Even though Crosshair went through some shit in that snow, cold, slowly dying, hasn't eaten, hasn't drank, but this asshole who probably was fed, who's properly warm and everything like that, looks at you and just says, hey, get back to work while you're still useful. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh, thank you, y'all. I hope you check out The Bad Batch. Crosshair has really grown. Like, in the first season, I was like, oh, this asshole. He's made his choice. That was the thing at the end of the last season. I was like, he's made his choice. This time around, I feel because he was a good soldier following orders, and now he's going to get fucked. He's been getting fucked, and, like, these clones are getting fucked. It's just crazy, man. All right, y'all. If you're watching The Bad Batch, tell me what you think of The Bad Batch. Tell me what you thought of this episode. I'm glad to be back with the Sexy Ninjacast. I'm going to keep rolling as much as I can. I hope you're enjoying the New World podcast. I hope you're enjoying Cplus Studios in general. Big Daddy's dropping episodes. You can follow us anywhere and everywhere you get podcasts. The Cplus Studios is everywhere. YouTube, Twitch. Go to our TeePublic, get some designs. I dropped some new merch for KMB, the Sexy Ninja. Designs by Katie. Some new stuff is coming, and I'm still expanding and building a Paper Saber universe to be what it's going to be, and I'm excited. All right, y'all. Like and subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja, and remember, stay sexy, ninjas. Whoop, whoop!
Welcome to the wicked shit.